We started to spend $2,000 a month on TikTok Shop. I used to go from like losing $400 to now making $1,400 a week in profit. And then, as I scaled that number, that everything improved. So the algorithm on Amazon is really favoring, for organic ranking, really favoring external traffic. They're rewarding you for bringing more people to the platform that are, gonna spend money. Like once you bring someone to Amazon, they're like, okay, thank you. With TikTok Shop, you can go viral and you're fine. You know what I mean? Like you're making money just by going viral.
Have you seen some brand that switch from Amazon to TikTok Shop and make more revenue on TikTok Shop than Amazon?
I don't think anything should be automated. I think everything should be human with the support of tools. The more of like you understand the market and what they need and give them something like that they really want and they really need, that's like the biggest thing that you could do.
Hi everyone, welcome on Amazon Expert Monday. Every Monday we interview Amazon experts, we share some tips, some nuggets, and today we are with Mina Elias, founder of Trivium agency. Mina has been a successful Amazon seller and now run Trivium agency since a few years, managing up to 300 brands. And today we will share about selling on Amazon, PPC, and a lot of stuff. Mina, how are you?
Good, man. Amazing. Feeling great.
You've been a successful Amazon seller and then you started providing services for other sellers. Can you tell me a little bit more about your journey as a seller?
Of course, man. So I started on Amazon back in 2018. So I used to work in corporate. I was a project manager in engineering. And worked up the corporate ladder 9 to 5. And then I kind of wanted to get out. So I decided to start a supplement brand just from a passion of loving supplements. I was an MMA fighter at the time. I was on keto and I needed a sugar-free electrolyte powder, but I didn't find anything good on the market. So I made the first sugar-free electrolyte powder on the market. It had sodium, potassium, magnesium, and taurine. Taurine was a replacement for sugar as an amino acid that helps the absorption, because everyone thought, you need sugar to absorb electrolytes, which is true. You need sugar, but you can also just replace it with an amino acid. And from there, I tried to sell it in gyms, stores, and completely failed. I got rejected all the time. Gyms, they weren't set up to sell stuff. Stores, they also, they weren't set up to, or like stores, like kind of, they would look at my product and be like, yeah, you know what, like leave 2 or 3 and we'll give you a call back. So that was a fail. So I decided to get on Amazon. That's where I bought all my products. And I'm like, okay, let's see if I can get this product on Amazon. So, called Amazon until I got someone on the phone, which is crazy to think like you can actually get someone on the phone. And then I asked them like, hey, I want to sell. They kind of walked me through the process and sent me an email with a link to get a Seller Central account. So I created a Seller Central account. And then from there, I'm like, okay, now I got to make this work. And I was very hungry and like very desperate to make it work, because if I knew like if I was able to make money, I could just finally like quit my miserable job. And I went all in on PPC and getting reviews, and I had a really good product. I had a very good price point, and I didn't know anything really. I didn't know anything about selling, anything about e-commerce, anything about Amazon, and I just made all the mistakes. And so this was around September or November 2018 is when I launched on Amazon. And 6 months later, I was doing 20K a month in revenue, 4K a month in profit. 3 months after that, I was doing 35K a month in revenue, 8K a month in profit. And then, by the end of the year, I was doing 94K a month in revenue and maybe like, 15K or something in profit, and 15 or 20K. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like this is crazy. Like it's actually, everything's moving and everything's working. Now, obviously it sounds easy because I'm just telling you kind of the growth in the revenue, but man, there was so much pain and so much suffering that I had to go through. My first 100 units, 60 of them broke during shipping. 1,000 units went to Amazon and they tasted like fish. And I got all these negative reviews and it was crazy. So it's just like so much kind of happened. Like I was screwed by PPC agencies. I was screwed by PPC software. I got screwed by everything. But it really kind of put that pressure on me. It's saying, okay, you need to figure this shit out for yourself. And so I was grinding really hard and I was reinvesting everything back into the business. And, when COVID hit, I was sitting at home, I was, by then I had I was doing an Amazon meetup to get more Amazon people together so we can kind of like talk and share strategies and stuff like that. So I decided to get on podcasts. I was like, let me get on podcast, start sharing my story, and share tips and advice for people. I had nothing to sell really, but after, 6 months of doing that, I kind of blew up in the space. Everyone knew who I was because I was not a bullshitter. I had a brand. I mentioned the name of the brand. I said, I own MMA Nutrition, my electrolyte supplement, and you can go check it out. And, this is a step by step of what I did and the things that I did right and how I optimized ads. And a lot of people did not understand how to optimize PPC. It was a very like hard thing for them to understand. So I was just got on there and I said, here are the things that I did that worked for me. And I did it in a very like step-by-step process. Like, for example, what I tried and what works is a campaign structure. Why I think you need at least $100 budget, only one ad group, no more than, 5 keywords, why I separate the match types. Then from there, like how I discover keywords, like, keyword research, the auto campaigns, separating the auto campaigns, broad, phrase, and exact. And then from there, extracting search terms that are profitable that I'm not already targeting them in the own campaigns, like all this kind of stuff. How I do deduplication, I like look for profitable search terms, look at what match type I'm targeting them in, and whatever is unique, add that to my targeting and see if I can get more money. How I'm optimizing for click-through rate and conversion rate, which is just always like trying to have a better main image, a better listing images, and so on. So I kind of broke everything down in very simple, easy to understand ways. I didn't try and like overcomplicate stuff to make myself sound like a cool guru. And
Yeah.
I think people love that. And I just got an insane demand in 2020 to open up an agency, and one aggregator hired me to train their full in-house team on doing PPC. And by the end of it, they're like, dude, you outperformed like 6 other agencies that we hired. And I was like, okay, maybe this is a sign for me that I should start my own agency. I'm better than these other agencies. I'm getting better results, and I'm also very honest. You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of agencies will take on clients and just like churn through them even if they can't help them out. So I decided to do it, and now I'm in the I started Trivium Group. We're 200 clients now, over 200 clients. 90 plus employees. I started a software company, called Optimum Brands. So Optimum Brands and Optimum Tools. This is basically using AI to like look through listings and identify ways to improve them. Optimum
Mhm.
Tools is all of my kind of PPC software, like my macros. It's not a software. Basically, you upload a bulk sheet, you upload a search term report, and it will tell you, okay, these are the unique search terms that are profitable, or bulk creating campaigns, or bulk optimizing bits, things like that, things that we use internally as a team. And then I also created Alertix, which is a monitoring software that you add to your accounts or in your product. And if anything bad happens, like buy box suppressed, hijacker, something changes, like weird, you can actually get alerted, and then it comes with an SOP of exactly how to handle it. So you get alerted, hey, this is how you can handle it. If you can't figure it out, you reach out to us and we'll handle it for you. It's like that's pretty much the kind of the concept. So that's essentially kind of my journey. And I'm always looking for like how, I mean, I'm a brand owner, so I have MMA Nutrition, and I also own Wonder Fat, which is a beef tallow face and skin moisturizer. And I'm always thinking like, how can I get better at like the entire brand building experience, whether it's like on Amazon, so getting more people to see me, like running ads, better click-through rate, better conversion rate, more lifetime value, more subscriptions, better Amazon chips and product packaging, so that people have a better client experience. Finding a way to pair my product with an app so you can collect customer data and have them on an application, or like driving external traffic from TikTok Shop. I think TikTok right now is like the strongest social platform, and if you're able to get the momentum going there, Amazon sees all that traffic coming into Amazon and they really reward you. Or if it comes down to like just innovating, creating new products, and instead of funding the whole thing yourself, maybe getting it on Kickstarter, getting it pre-funded, by people doing pre-sales, and then using that to fund your production run. Just kind of, we're looking to always improve and get tighter and tighter, and really build brands comprehensively.
Okay, got it. We will talk about TikTok Shop, but first of all, you were talking about PPCs and your strategy. Basically, you were explaining your strategy to other sellers. How did you learn about PPC? Did you follow some training? Was that only trying, seeing, failing? What was your process as a seller to learn?
Yeah. So basically, I mean, back then in 2018, I went on Google, on YouTube, right? Google, YouTube, and I just started trying different things. Now, the crazy thing is, like, I would watch a video of someone doing like launching a campaign, and he would say you'd have one campaign and 3 ad groups, broad, phrase, exact. Put them all together, and then you'd put all your keywords in those 3 ad groups, right? And that would be. So I'm like, okay, I would do that. And then I would notice, okay, first of all, the broad is getting 90% of the budget. Phrase and exact are not getting any budget because, broad has way more volume. And then when I go look in the campaigns, I see like the top 5 keywords in broad are getting spent and everything else is not getting spent. So I'm like, okay, the exact ad group's not doing anything. Let me try putting in a separate campaign. So I put it in a separate campaign and just exact, with all the keywords. And then I was like, okay, now it's actually getting budget. Like before it was getting $5 a day. Now it's getting up, 50. And, but still only 5 keywords are performing. And I'm like, and these long tail, like unflavored electrolyte powder, like this is so perfect for me, but it's not getting any budget. Like what's going on? Okay, pause that keyword. Let's try a different campaign. I would launch a new campaign and just say it's that single keyword campaign. So, one campaign, one ad group, one keyword, exact. And now it's spending money and it's profitable. So I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to pick up on things. I'm like, they told me to do this, and I'm seeing it's not working. So I tried this, now it's working. And then I tried this and now it's, so it's like, it was a lot of like, the thing that people make the biggest mistake with, they change too many things at once. I have a chemistry degree. So in chemistry, it's called a controlled experiment. A controlled experiment is basically you change one variable only and you control everything else. So whether I'm changing the temperature or I'm adding only one additional chemical or I'm removing one or, something, but everything else stays the same. Only one thing changes, one factor, one variable. And then you see, okay, I did this experiment, this happened. I changed this one thing, this happened. Let's change it in a different way. This happened. Okay, now I can make some deductions. You know what I mean? So I did the exact same thing with Amazon. It's like, let me change just one thing and see what happens. And when like obviously, hey, let's keep everything the same. Let's cut the price. I'm selling it $25.99. Let's go to $19.99. Boom, revenue and sales are going up. Okay, but imagine if I cut down the price and I like double the ad spend. And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, you changed two things. Was it the ad spend or was it the price that affected it? So that's essentially how I learned. And now, okay, let's jump to 2025. How do I learn new things?
Yeah.
So with new things, it's a little bit of a shortcut. So the way that I do new things is this. I find 3 consultants. Okay. So I'll initially have a conversation with 3 consultants and, I'll say, okay, I'm trying to optimize PPC. What do I do? They'll give me all of their information, their knowledge, and I'll write it down. And then I'll build experiments. So I'll say, okay, cool. Let's try. I'm telling you, Nasif, like if you want to cut down your wasted ad spend, go to your search term report, put, orders equals 0, put spend greater than, let's say, $15. And then anything above 15 and, 0 orders, take that search term and go and add it in the campaign as a negative. And let me know what happens. So you're like, okay, cool. Let me try that. And you do that experiment. And then again, this person's passing on the knowledge and then you're testing it on yourself and in a few cases. And then you're coming up with your own kind of rule book of like, so, that's how I learned TikTok Shop. I'm like, okay, TikTok Shop. Let's try different things. Let's try by, reaching out through TikTok to creators. Okay. Let's try using a bot to do mass outreach. Let's try using small UGC creators. Let's try ones with over $1,000 GMV. Let's try ones with over 10,000 followers. Let's avoid all of that and let's go to Incense, Incense the software, and let's try sourcing. Instead of like, I'm giving away 100 units, and out of the 100 units, I got 100 videos, and out of the 100 videos, it made me $200 because the videos are all shit. Let me, if you do 100 times 10, which is the giveaway cost, like the cost of the product and everything, it's $1,000. So I'm like, okay, let me try $1,000, but instead I'm going to pay, 20 creators $50 each. I can look at their portfolio. They're creating high quality content, and let's go that route. So then from there, I'm like, okay, cool. How is that going? And I can start to make some deductions and then it's like someone says, okay, let's start pushing it with ads. So I start pushing it with ads. Then I'm like, okay, let's try GMV Max campaign. Okay, how does that go? And then someone tells me, well, once the ad performs, try and like look at the audience. Like let's say it's women over 45 that had the best conversion, and try to push that ad again only to women above 45. And then I try that, see what happens. Did it work? Did it not work? So that's kind of if I were in, right now, if I'm talking to someone like the Mina in 2018, obviously back then consultants weren't good and there wasn't a lot of information available. But start off by like, okay, find a good person with a proven track record that puts content out there. Like, someone that like, not a guru. Like when you look at me, you're like, okay, this guy is doing the
How,
stuff.
how
He,
can you identify who is a guru and who is not? How can you identify who is
you
making it?
you you can see like their track record as a business. So
Okay.
for example, like let's say you want to learn something, go and it's like about Amazon. Go look at someone with Amazon brands. Okay, someone who has an Amazon brand public, you can go look at the revenue of the brand, right? But again, make sure that you can at least look under the hood a little bit if you can see that
Yeah.
how much money they're spending, because sometimes people are like, oh, my revenue is amazing, but like
Mm.
also they're spending all this money on ads and their profit is zero. So maybe
Yeah.
it's not, they're just using it for vanity. So start by looking for people who are actually doing it. Then go also look at people who are doing it for others, where like there's a, you can go talk to the founders, like, you see like this agent, for example, Trivium. You go on my website, there's like, a bunch of people listed, like brands that we work with. Go to LinkedIn, find the brand owner and say, hey, what's up? I'm considering to, work with Mina and Trivium. How's your experience been? What did they do well? What did they not do well? Okay. And, so just the regular vetting process. If you're going to work with a mechanic, it's the exact same process. You're finding some people, like who are they referring, etc. Then from there, just do like a kind of a binge of like, I'm going to spend like actually 20 hours consuming content, right? Just so it's almost like you're learning the language. You're just like, okay, let me immerse myself. Let me talk, like, let me listen. And, just do a daily walk, 30 minutes daily walk on the weekends, go to the pool, whatever, and just immerse yourself. I call it immersion. It's part of my
Mm.
process for learning anything new. If I want to learn software, I'm immersing myself in software. If I want to
Mm, very
learn finance, if I want to learn AI, I did it recently for stocks. So like initially, I immersed myself in
good.
podcasts and YouTube videos, and learning from the people that I'm seeing trading really
Mm.
well, and like other people are saying, yeah, this is a great trader. He's actually doing well for himself. And again, like not day trading, but like long term investing. And then from there, I'm like, okay, let me hire a few consultants. And I sat down with them and I'm like, okay, explain to me, like, I'm trying to achieve this goal. Like I'm working, I make money in my business. I want to put my money in stocks that will grow as best as possible over time. Like, what's a good strategy? Okay, cool. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how you evaluate this. This is when you can get out. This is when you're at risk. This is how you prevent losses, etc. And they kind of are feeding me this, and I'm just applying, and eventually you just become really good, right, at whatever
Okay.
you're doing. So that's my process.
Okay. Very clear. So you get the data first, you get the knowledge first, and then you still experiment. You don't just follow a strict strategy. You experiment, you test, you adapt, and that's how you grow.
Exactly.
And I guess yeah, that's how you are able to grow your brand. Are you still selling on Amazon yourself, or did you stop to focus on Trivium?
No, I still sell. So I have my own brand. So I have MMA Nutrition, and then I also have Wonder Fat. So Wonder Fat is already on Kickstarter, launching on TikTok, and is going to be on Amazon, I would say, like in 3 weeks, right? Just so we can make sure we fulfill the TikTok, the Kickstarter orders. The reason, like, we could have been live now, but the reason that I pushed it is because I wanted to make sure that I can show everyone that you don't need money. Like, you can build a really strong brand. Like, you can, if you don't have money and you want to launch a brand, then why don't you at least build a following and get some people engaged and get them involved in the process and whatever,
Mm.
and build a list of people that are super interested in your product, and then from there launch a Kickstarter, promote it to them, make it enticing, and then get people to fund your initial production run, which is like, let's say your production run is okay, let's say you need 1,000 units and that costs you $5,000.
Mm.
You only need to fund 300 units because you can sell that, that more than that. You can sell 300 units for like, $6,000. So you can exceed your full production run by selling 300 units and be left with 700 units. And so I wanted to do that to show everyone, like, hey, we just pushed it. Or we did a little bit of Instagram marketing. We engaged with a creator, and I told her, like, if you promote it hard, like, for every sale, I'm gonna give you X amount of dollars, and we're probably gonna get like 500 units funded, which is gonna translate into, let's say, $30. That's $15,000, and our first production run is only like $7,000. So I'm gonna be able to get you know two full production runs and have like 4, 5, 6 months of units runway on Amazon, and then launch on Amazon and show people how with that runway, I can, start not profitable, then break even, and reinvest back into ordering more units. And then once I'm profitable, show, go to Wayflyer, for example, and show them like, hey, this is my business. It's been growing. It's profitable. Can you help me fund my production run? And then start using other people's money, aka Wayflyer, a capital funding partner, to fund the
Mhm.
production run. And, then I can, I can keep reinvesting that money, pay them off, use more money, pay them off, use your money. And then all the profits are coming in, and I'm using the profits to kind of do improvements and things like that. And eventually, you can have a business that runs profitably and you're making money, and I think for a lot of people, if they see like, okay, there's a very clear path of like losing money to breaking even to profitable to growth, like growing the profits. I think that, that a lot of times, like, it's really hard. And then, when I show everyone how it can be done, it's like, okay, I get it. Like, I can actually do this too.
Are you documenting that? Are you publishing
Yeah.
videos showing the process step by step on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, everything, you'll see everything on my YouTube channel. So Mina Elias, and I also have a course where I put all of this stuff. So it's called the Trivium Startup, where I basically put every single training that I have, like internal, so training my team, external, like anything to kind of like talk about Kickstarter, talk about how funding and cash flow cycle, all this stuff works, and basically like put it all there, right? Because I mean, ultimately, the how this stemmed is, if you think about it, like, this makes like not nothing compared to Trivium in terms of money. Like, even my brands make way more money, but so many people come to me and they're like, I need help. I don't know what to do. Da da da. And I'm like, okay, well, our minimum retainers are too high for you to be able to afford it, or you don't even have a brand, right? So I
Yeah.
just, especially like friends, family, and other people, I just wanted to kind of take my brain and put it all in one place, and put all the resources and just say, if you're looking to do this thing, like, here you go.
Okay, so you can either do it yourself with your course or hire your team to do the advertisement, etc. Uh,
Yeah.
so let's get to 2025. We have a lot of stuff. AI, Rufus, tariff, everything is complicated. I met you in Prague 2 months ago. You were talking about TikTok Shop, how Amazon sellers should start selling on TikTok. What is your main focus right now?
Yeah, so I think right now, I think getting that TikTok shop like flywheel going, and getting a lot of content, at least even at break even, that will scale your brand, right? And you'll start to see like all of that overflow traffic come into Amazon, and your Amazon become way more profitable. So
Mm.
the way to think about it is this: right now you're let's say spending $10,000 a month on Amazon PPC, or whatever, even 5,000. So you go into TikTok and you're like, okay, cool. Can I find 5 to 10 creators that can consistently create really good content for me, and I can take that content and put some ads budget behind it, and let's say I pay the creator $50 per piece of content. So let's do 20 pieces of content is $1,000, and let's say I do another $1,000 in terms of PPC. Sorry, in terms of like ads, like TikTok Shop ads, Spark
Mm.
ads. So now that's $2,000, and let's say the product is, before everything, is 50% profit margin. So I technically need to sell $4,000 approximately, for maybe 4,500 to break even on that. But then I'm gonna get all this like visibility, right? So can I get from that, the 20 pieces of content, $1,000 in ad spend, about $4,000 in sales? If you do, now you're breaking even. And now you go look at Amazon and you start to see, okay, you're spending 10K and you're making 40, 50K. Now you're spending 10K, you're making 60K, 70K. And not only does you're getting this branded traffic, but also your organic rank, even on generic keywords, start to come up. And what I've noticed is, I started reading, after I listened to Danny McMillan's like session, whatever, I started reading, and it's like the algorithm on Amazon is really favoring for organic ranking, really favoring external traffic. So the more traffic that you're bringing into Amazon, which makes so much sense, right? Because they're rewarding you for bringing more people to the platform that are, going to spend money. Like, once you bring someone to Amazon, they're like, okay, thank you, because now they know like these people are more likely to spend money. So they're rewarding you, and they're probably like, okay, like, this is, people are looking for this product, increase the rank. If they make more money, they're probably going to spend more money, which is going to send more people to our platform, right? So again, this is a hypothesis, but when I look at hey, we started to spend $2,000 a month on TikTok Shop. I used to go from like losing $400 to now making 1,400 a week in profit. And then, as I scaled that number, that everything improved. So, and setting up TikTok Shop, the beautiful thing about it is it's not that hard. When you set up your shop, you can copy everything from Amazon.
Mhm.
Going after getting reviews is not hard. Friends and family, like no problem at all. They're not like they don't care. They're cool with that.
Okay.
So I'm not officially, but like they're not really punishing people like Amazon is. So you get a bunch of reviews, 50 to 100 reviews. Now your listing is going to look good. Then from there, okay, go on Incense or use Yucabot to do like mass outreach, or go to one of those like communities. Brands Meet Creators is another one. You can go to them and you can be like, okay, I'd love to partner with you guys. We're going to give you like a crazy deal, and like let's get this thing going. And you find some creators, you create a creative brief. So you're like, hey, based on my top competitors, right? This is, and you can use Fastmoss for that. So you're like, based on my top competitors, like here's the content that's performed really well. You can see that there's very high GMV from these types of content. So I want you guys to create for me this kind of content, which, like, for example, let's say the hook is like, oh my God, like I had this crazy rash, right? And then, I tried everything under the sun, and it really wasn't working. And America's stuff is toxic. Look at what they're saying. And then I found this, beef tallow, and I was looking for the most natural organic one. I end up finding Wonder Fat, and like I like that it's only 5 ingredients. It's all natural. There's not a lot of chemicals or preservatives. I understand what each ingredient is. I can actually read it. Blah 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 blah. And like you send them this brief. They start making the content, and they start posting it, and you start running ads. And anything that works, you keep feeding them. You're like, hey, by the way, this other guy, he made me this thing. It worked well. Maybe you should try this angle. Or hey, this other person used this hook. It worked well. Maybe you should try this angle. And you just kind of work on improving the creatives that you're getting, and getting a bigger group of people to consistently post high quality content, and you keep pushing it with ads. And then as long as you're breaking even, somewhat breaking even, you're going to start seeing impressions go up and up and up and up. And as a result, it's going to overflow to Amazon. Your Amazon is going to get the best benefit. And it's number one, the most scalable. Amazon PPC is very hard to scale, very expensive, right? And you need a lot of reviews. With TikTok Shop, you can go viral and you're fine. You know what I mean? Like you're making money just by going viral. So just by trying enough, you go viral, as opposed to, with PPC, it's like you have to spend all this money to buy the data. You have to keep getting reviews so your conversion rate keeps improving. And if your competitors are like gaining 1,000 reviews a month, it's just getting even more challenging. Not to say anything bad about Amazon. Like you need them both 100%. But having a balanced strategy and getting that brand awareness off of Amazon really translates into a much better performance on Amazon.
Have you seen, out of the more than 300 brands that you have managed at Trivium, have you seen some brand that switch from Amazon to TikTok Shop and making more revenue on TikTok Shop than Amazon?
No, I haven't seen. The only time I've seen anything like that happen is when there is actually one case. They're not our client, but my
Mm.
client sells an NAD supplement, and
Okay.
there's one his top competitor sells like 1,000 bottles a day of
Mhm.
that on TikTok only, and like they just opened up their Amazon, they just opened it up, and all of it, they're already doing 100K a month, like in less than a month of opening up,
Okay.
versus they're selling 1,000 bottles a day, 30,000
Mm.
bottles a month on TikTok Shop. So that was like the only case I saw. I also know another one where like their Amazon got shut down, and they're doing amazing on TikTok Shop. But most of the time, you will do overall better on Amazon because people want to buy more on Amazon than they do on TikTok.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Like if you're getting like let's say 100 sales a day on TikTok,
Mm.
you should be getting like at least 200 or 300 a day on Amazon.
Okay. So you see it as a way to bring traffic to Amazon, but not necessarily as a new channel to replace Amazon, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it replaces it. I would say it's synergistic. So like, it's same with Facebook, right? The brands and the clients that we manage that have Facebook ads that are spending 100K, 200K a month on Facebook, and they're sending the traffic to direct to consumer, and it's converting. There's so much halo going on Amazon, and they're insanely profitable on Amazon. Like 10x ROAS, on Amazon. But it's not like they are like, oh, we're just gonna, do D2C. Like they're already doing D2C and it's working, and Amazon's getting a huge benefit. So the best way to think about it is this: the more of an omnipresent, like comprehensive sort of brand you are, the better you're going to be. And the best way to do that is, okay, you start with Amazon where you can make money, or you start with TikTok if you want to be like super lean and just like reinvest everything. But I think, you start with Amazon, you make some money. You could definitely make some money on Amazon. Then you get on TikTok Shop and you start scaling, because it's the cheapest way to scale organically. Then you open up your D2C and you start, doing like Facebook ads and Google ads to D2C. And again, you want to convert there. And then you find a way to build a community. So like if you can find a very enticing way to bring people into your audience, and then, kind of remarket to them, email marketing, SMS marketing. Again, now you're building like lifetime value and all this kind of stuff. And then you start noticing, okay, wow, I'm a comprehensive brand. I have Amazon, and I have TikTok Shop, and I have direct to consumer, and maybe eventually people like retail will come to you and say, hey, we'd like to get you into retail on our shelves. And then you start to globally expand, and that's kind of like, you're just start with one thing, get it good, get it going, make it into a system and a machine that's running profitably, then move on to the next thing, then move on to the next thing, then move on to the next thing.
Okay, got it. You are in the very nice position of seeing a lot of brands. Like today, you are managing more than 200 brands. Even if you are applying the same strategies, the same professionalism, some of them will perform better than other. What do you see that makes the difference between brands and sellers that perform well compared to the one that are most difficult?
Yeah. So the first thing is product market fit. Like that is the biggest thing. And what product market fit is, we're let's say me and you are in the market for whey protein, just a simple whey protein, right? Me and you are in the market. We're that market. Now, when we look at the whey proteins, what are we looking for? We're probably looking for like high protein, good flavor, good digestion, maybe has some like additional cool things like probiotics, or like, creatine glutamine added into it. Like this is what we're looking for. And then we look at the shelf on Amazon and we see all of our options. If you can have the best option, the most superior option, the one that fits me and your needs the most, at like the best, kind of the best price also, the better. And product market fit, it depends. Like sometimes product market fit can be like, I'm looking for something like a little bit nicer. Sometimes it can be like something major. For example, let's say that you have a fuser, electric diffuser with aromatherapy at home. Everyone has like kind of a bulky one, right? And I'm selling a nice sleek one, no wire. It has like a 30-day battery life, and you can charge it with a USB-C. It has a Bluetooth speaker. It has lights, so it has ambiance, and it can light up the kind of the mist as it goes up. You can connect it to your phone on an app, and you can program it for different times of the day. At night turn off, in the morning turn on, or whatever. You can also put like 4 different aromas in there. So you can change and go between the different ones. It's made from like this certain type of stuff. It's completely leak proof. It has a lifetime warranty. You now have the best product on the market. You know what I mean? And the more of a need it is, the better you're and more, the better position you will be. Like sometimes like, the need is not that much, like it's like, okay, better, slightly better tasting protein, or adding, glutamine, like, oh, it's okay. It's a little bit. But if you go from like, let's say a mug of water that like can hold temperature, for 1 day versus like can hold temperature for like 7 days, for example. And it's like, and there's some reason that you really need that. Or you go from something that kind of is hot in your hand to like it's perfect room temperature. Like imagine, when you're looking at 2 mugs, one is $9.99 and it's like it will make your hand hot. The other one is, $24.99, perfect room temperature. We're not even gonna think. I'm gonna get the one that's perfect room temperature because it's not gonna make my hand hot or burn. And so the more of like you understand the market and what they need, and give them something like that they really want and they really need, that's like the biggest thing that you could do. So most people, I mean, how many people have you talked to that are constantly doing research and development? Most of them are launching variations, but like No one's sitting there with a consistent system of how can I keep talking to customers, and how can I keep getting feedback, how can I keep reviewing, reviews, and how can I consistently find a way to make it better and better and better product. So that's number one. Number two, the listing. So once you've done that, right? Once you've done this, it's like, okay, how, can I am I conveying it well enough in a strong enough and like a very good quality creatives on my listing. So when I open up the listing and I scroll image one, image two, image three, I should know, wow, I'm sold. This is the most superior product on the market. I should buy this. I don't even need to look too much on the price, really, because this is like everything that I need times 10 and more, right? So as long as you can communicate that in the images, you're going to have a very high success rate. If you can't communicate that in the images, that's where brands start to struggle. So it starts kind of there, right? Product market fit, and then main image, and then a competitive price point. It's a price point that makes sense, a very good listing, and then reviews. Listen, you can have the best product in the world. If it has 50, 100 reviews, 150 reviews, it's going to struggle. Then you have a shit product and it has like 20,000 reviews and it makes 300,000 a month. So reviews is just, it really matters on Amazon. So you have to find a way to get them, and the biggest thing is, how can you capture customer data and engage with them enough to get them to leave you a review? That's pretty much it. And then preventing negative reviews. I think that's also a big one. If you can, again, when someone buys your product, immediately make it very clear that if there's any issues, reach out to us. It's easy, hassle-free returns. I mean, even keep the product, like we'll just send you a new one or send you a refund. Great. So that's kind of where what I've seen is like will make the biggest difference. From there, everything else adds up, like the PPC strategy, the DSP strategy, the discounts and coupons and subscribe and save strategy and all this stuff. That's all kind of additional.
Okay, that's great because you guys are specialized in PPC and I've been following your content since a long time. Very technical, very precise, but the first step is product market fit and listing and images. So that's great to know. I saw that you guys start with an audit. If a brand want to work with you, you start with an audit. What do you look at when you do this audit?
Yeah, great question. So when looking at an audit, again, it's kind of we're evaluating from the bottom up. So let's talk first about how is your product look in the search results. Do you have your main image versus your competitors? Do you have an attractive one that stands out? And when I look at it versus the others, it's making me like, oh, I should click on that one. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, like people don't have infographics in their main images, or their label is hard to read or something, right? Then we look at like price and reviews. How do you match against the competitors? Then we go look into the listing. Again, do you have really good selling points? Then we do a quick, do you have a brand story? Do you have premium plus content? And then we look at your SEO and what's your SEO value? Like, when we put your SEO versus competitors SEO, are you indexing and ranking, for all the right keywords? Then, or like compared to the other people. Then from there, we start looking at the ads. Let's start with the wasted ad spend. How many keywords and search terms spent money with no sales? What's the total amount? 5,000, 4,000, 10,000, 100. And then how much of that is also inefficient? So, targets or search terms that have a high ACOS and low sales, like 2 orders or less, ACOS above 85%, for example. Then from there, I start looking at like the housekeeping stuff. So do you have multiple ad groups in a campaign? That's probably going to result in worse results. Do you have too many keywords in a campaign in an ad group? That's going to also result in bad performance. Then are you mixing the targeting types? Then from there we go into like, okay, do you have campaigns that are performing really well? Like you can just sort your campaigns in order of ROAS, and what's their budget and when was it last updated? Do you have campaigns that $30 budget, 11x ROAS, last update was never, or 8 months ago, 3 months ago? Like, okay, if it has an 11x ROAS, take that $30 budget, make it 100, then make it 200, then make it 400. Then I look at placements. So I look at and see, do you have campaigns where the top of search impression share is like very low, so under 10%? And when I look at the placements, top of search first page, it's outperforming all the other placements, which tells me you should show up more in that placement. But as of right now, you're showing up less than 10%. So definitely room to grow there. Then we do a coverage audit. So we'll extract all the search terms in the search term report. We'll also do a quick keyword like reverse ASIN, on your top competitors, and we'll also pull the search keyword performance report keywords. Combine all of that and then put it in a sheet and put your targeting, your bulk sheet, like targeting versus the list of the keywords, and see where do you have coverage. Do you have every single keyword being targeted in all the match types or no? And especially like in order of the ones that convert best. So when I find search terms that have like strong conversion and you have a low impression rank, like your impression rank is like 30, 40, even like 25, and you're not targeting those keywords, or your position is low, you're not getting visibility for a keyword that you're converting well on. So I highlight that and say, hey, you can grow your coverage. That's I mean, I look at like some other stuff. We look at like, are you using like subscribe and save discounts if you're a consumable product? We do a quick AI review of the reviews and see what are people complaining about. How can you fix it? So usually we'll take that AI review summary, dump it into AI, and say, hey, this is an AI review summary. Tell me exactly what I would do if you were like the head of research and development for my business to improve the product so that we no longer have these problems. But yeah, that's kind of the audit.
Okay, got it. Regarding the research and development and the product market fit, which was the main point, I guess, that led your brand to be successful on Amazon. You launch a product that people wanted to have. What do you do? What are your techniques to reach that product market fit, to reach those customers? It can be complicated because you don't have the customer contact on Amazon. So what are your techniques to test and reach the product market fit?
Yeah, so first of all, I understand who my market is. So, like electrolyte supplements, I'm probably selling to people who are running, doing yoga, they want hydration, they're doing Pilates, they're doing hot Pilates, they're on keto. Those are my people. So, what I want to do is I want to get into, kind of groups where I have like groups of these people, or maybe find the subreddits where there's a bunch of these people, and I can ask them, kind of start asking people for opinions. This is kind of I call it like crowdsourcing feedback. So I'll ask these people. I'll be like, hey, which electrolytes do you like and why? And like, if you could improve an electrolyte powder, like what would you improve about it? Start collecting the answers. Then I will go and take my top 20 competitors, do the AI review summary on it, feed it into ChatGPT, and again say, hey, you're the head of research and development. This is my product. I'm looking to create a product that is the most superior on the market, that has the highest product market fit. Give me like 20 different ways where you could enhance the product. Then from there, I have a bunch of ideas. Some of them are feasible, some of them are not feasible. So I pick the ones that are feasible, and then I'll create like a new product. So I'll basically like just create an infographic. Here's my product. Here's some selling points about it, and then I'll start sending it again to these people in the groups and say, hey, so if I based on like what I gathered, if I created this product, would you guys think it's better than these other ones? You know what I mean? And it's kind of like sometimes like I'll just do an infographic. Sometimes I'll do a comparison chart. So like, my product, the competitors, here's what we're grading it on. Here's information. What do you guys think? And kind of like that's the way I go about it. Then from there, okay, let's go into production. Let's get a sample. Then let's test it with real people. I love to do blind tests. So like, even if it's like not a electrolyte or something, it could be a tumbler. Okay, I'll just cover the logo. I'll take a sticker and cover the logos and say, okay, guys, here you go. Tell me which ones would you rather have and why. And eventually I don't stop until number one, I have a better product. Like people are saying, yeah, I want this one. And then number two, when I put the image versus the competitors' images, in the heat maps, they're always, I'm the number one. They're clicking on mine. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Now I have a superior product. Let's launch it and let's see what happens on Amazon. And then as soon as I launch it, I'm already working on the next one.
Okay. But you're still improving it, checking the reviews and still improving the product.
Yeah, even if you just dedicate like 2 hours a week to that. Like if you have 40 hours a week, you can also like build a system and like really, once you set it up, just have an employee like, do a lot of the dirty work, and you kind of you need to be really involved with talking to the customers. I think that's the best. But besides that, you can have an employee doing a lot of the dirty work.
Okay, got it. Let's talk a little bit about your agency. Now you have built a very great agency with a lot of people, a lot of brands. You are doing training, agency services, a lot of content. The time I met you in Prague, you were recording 3 videos the same day. What is your organization to manage all of that? And how do you get that energy to manage all of that?
Yeah, so I think for me, prioritization is number one. So I know, like for an agency, that I have really four core pillars, right? That to is number one, acquire customers. Number two, convert them into clients, or like do marketing and to get leads. Number two, convert them into clients. Number three, reduce churn by providing the best possible service. And then number four, bringing A plus player talent into the company. And I want to make sure that every single week I'm dedicating a majority of the week focusing on one or two of these core pillars and really moving the needle. And so that's step number one. Once I have, I'm like, okay, cool. We're gonna first of all, like the reason that I do a lot of marketing, a lot of like content is there's many ways to acquire customers, right? You can go to conferences. You can do Facebook ads, Google ads. You can show up in registries. You could you can whatever, you can do so many different things. The way that I want it to be acquired as a customer, so if I want to go work with a Google agency or any a finance agency, is I want to be given a lot of value, so much value that I feel really grateful for them. And then I say, okay, I would like to work with you. Like clearly, like you've already given me tens of thousands of dollars worth of knowledge for nothing, in exchange for nothing. I would like to now have your team do the execution. So, and this is kind of when I first started. I saw some of the agencies that would like kind of just give, right? They would give without asking for anything exchange, and then people came to them, and I went to them, and so I was like, okay, the mission here is how do I take every part of Amazon and break it up into all the small pieces, right? So, like if you talk about a brand starts at from research and development to manufacturing to quality control to third party logistics and shipments to duties and tariffs and crossing the borders to once it's on Amazon, building the listing, optimizing the listing, launching with PPC, launching with TikTok Shop, optimizing PPC and scaling PPC, optimizing the listings again, launching variations, global expansion. So kind of list all these topics out and then say, okay, under each of these topics, what can I talk about and break into very easy, digestible things that would add a ton of value to people? And that's then I set off to start recording it. And for me, I tell the team, here's everything that we can add value to into the audience. And I sit down. Usually what keeps me really streamlined is an assistant and a project manager. So when I have a project, I sit down, I say, okay, guys, here's what we need to do for this project. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 20 steps. And we assign everything to everyone, including me. Then all I need is show up on my calendar, and in the calendar event, give me all these things. Like, okay, Mina, this is what you're going to record. Here's the topic that you asked. Just make sure that you prepare, right? So they'll reach out to me days before the recording and say, hey, what do you want to talk about? I send the voice note. This is the things that I want to cover if I was to add value. Obviously, everything's in my head already. Sometimes I'm like, this is what I want to cover. Also, go to this team member. They have like this nice sheet. Get it from them. And then I show up, I record, and then the team continues. And I like to build everything with very strict, like well-oiled systems, like a machine. It's like a well-oiled machine, very strict systems. Step 1, 2, 3, everyone follows it. We quality control, make sure the system is being followed. And then from there, continuous improvement, iterate until the system becomes better and better and better and delivers better results with more leverage.
Okay. And which part of your business do you automate? If you automate any part of your business regarding ads management, maybe listing optimization or things like that, which part do you think needs to stick to human and which part do you automate?
Yeah, I don't think anything should be automated. I think everything should be human with the support of tools. So like, let's say that, we wanted to do this coverage plan, right? If we had a tool where, which we do, which you go in there and it's like, it's pulling data from your search term report and it's pulling data from your targeting tab and it's showing you, hey, this is your coverage in order of like the keywords performance. That's ideal. Now, if the action was automated, like, hey, if you see a good converting keyword with a low impression share and this, launch it, it gets a little bit out of control. You know what I mean? It gets a little bit too risky, because like, what if this is not like the correct case, or what if you just pause that keyword because of like, because it was performing in auto, right? Oh yeah, it's performing in auto, but when you took it and put it in broad phrase exact, it didn't perform. So you've already spent the money and killed the keyword. Like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? But in automation, it's really hard to build all of those layers. And at the end of the day, like, you do need a little bit of a human check. Like, what you could do is you could say, okay, if a human were to do it, what are the steps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, cool. Step like 1 to 9, can you get an automation to do all of the stuff and then present it to the human? Step number 10 is the human makes a decision and then implements carefully.
Okay, perfect. So you use tool to assist you and not to automate.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's the
great.
same with AI. Like with AI, we're doing the exact same thing where we're drawing process maps. And I'm saying, like, for example, like for recruiting, I'm like, what's the recruiting process? We part of it is like, we get the candidates in. Once they're in, we do an HR interview with them, and we ask them like, what's your X, Y, and Z? What salary do you want? What do you want to start, etc. So I'm like, okay, what if we utilize the AI when a candidate comes in, that an AI would reach out, a voice AI, reach out and say, hey, my name's John, I'm an AI, whatever. My name is Jarvis, I'm an AI. I work for Mina's recruiting team. Can I ask you a few questions? We're considering your application. I just need a little bit more information. And then from there, we'll reach out to book an interview if everything looks good. And they're like, okay, cool. What's the questions? They ask the questions, and then the AI takes this, the answers, post it into, kind of the candidate card, right? The candidate like little tracker. And then now the HR manager doesn't need to have a whole call with them. They could probably just do a 5-minute call, because they already have all this information. They're maybe just asking a few extra questions, and then from there saying, okay, cool, this can be a quick 5-minute Zoom. Now I'm going to push you. So now my HR manager, instead of doing one, can do three. So that's how we are leveraging AI.
Okay, perfect. I think that's a very nice way to use tool, not to automate and lose control, but always stay in control. What are the next steps for you guys with all your businesses? What are your next goals?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I honestly, there's so many things that we want to achieve. I would say right now, it is really we're building like a big strategy hub, like in like a document, right, where I can take a brand and I can list every possible potential strategy to be implemented, and then we can start creating the system of like, okay, cool, we have this brand. What are all the things that need to happen? If it's product market fit, if it's better quality control, if it's better this, if it's a better listing, if it's better PPC, if it's DSP, if it's whatever, and then have either internally the best person to do it, or externally a partner that our team will make sure that they're on top of that, managing them, to make sure, like, sometimes I'm like, Nasif, oh, go talk to this guy, he's amazing at like X, Y, and Z, and then you start to deal with them directly, and it's like they're not responding and this and that. But if our project managers are on top of them and they're like, hey, this is the Trivium standard and this is how we manage clients, and I'm staying on top of you to make sure that everything goes smooth. That's kind of the dream, like, that you come to us and we're like the central hub that has everything you need to scale your brand when it comes to like Amazon. Even at the beginning, when it comes to like the physical product, the R&D, the manufacturing, like sourcing the manufacturer. Like, let's say you come to me and you're like, my manufacturer's screwing me. Okay, I have a sourcing company that I can refer you. They'll find you a better manufacturer. And then I have the best quality control company. I have the best 3PL. I have the best financing company. I have the best like warehousing company. In America, I have the like obviously all the creative team, the DSP team, the whatever reviews, or the Amazon chips and product packaging, someone that can basically, I can refer you to. Hey, they look at your product. Okay, this is the packaging that we're going to do. It's going to increase your cost by 30 cents, but Amazon's going to drop your cost by 30 cents. So there's going to be no difference. And now we have a QR code that we can, attract people. Also, the product looks way better when it arrives in the mail. Kind of like that system. So it's like, you come to us and there's nothing that you need that we haven't developed a really strong system and a either internal solution or external solution to. And also continuously improving on the visibility. Like, I haven't seen a lot of people that really show like week over week changes, showing profits, right? But like, to take it further, it's like, can we start to show, okay, week over week, the actions that were taken, the changes in the keywords, the keyword rank, the keyword performance, the changes in the profits, and being able to a lot easier like communicate to someone maybe who's not a super Amazon PPC expert, but being able to tell the story so that they feel, okay, we know what's happening, we know what's the next step, and we kind of have a game plan.
You mean communicate that to your client or to on YouTube in
Clients, to
general?
the clients, yeah.
To the client. Okay. Okay, got it. Nice. Mina, thank you so much for sharing all of that. You are exactly like on your YouTube channel, no information retention. You share a lot. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for being on the show. Thank
My
you for
pleasure,
sharing.
man.
Yeah, and see you another time. Bye,
Perfect.
guys.
Take it
Thanks
easy.
for listening.